Good. How are you?
Good.
Great game.
How y'all doing?
Great game.
You're good. Looking great. All right. So to start, before we do questions, Stretch set the school record for blocks in a game with 11. Woo! Set in 1976 is also the team record for most blocks in a game with 15. The previous was 14. So who wants to ask questions? Abe's gonna ask questions.
Well, Kevin stole my intro to the question. But right now, you sit in second in the country in blocks per game with 3.7 after tonight's game.
Oh my God!
Let's talk about 9 games. You have over 33 blocks. What's been working for you defensively? Scheme.
Glory to God, blessed with this wingspan. So start from that, and just the attention to details. You know what I mean? So before the game, we get with the coach, and they tell us, look, this guy, he pump fake, he a roller, he a shot. I know what to do because I go through the plays and everything. So from there, I learned they play, and I went from there, and God bless me. So.
Not only blocks, obviously, but you looked very comfortable this game on the perimeter.
Yeah.
What was that work in practice, leading up to tonight?
Guarding this guy, man. I got to guard him during the summer. I guard him every time. And, if you guard this guy, you got to move your feet. So he helped me on that. So that helps a lot. So, and I feel I can guard 1 through 5, man. What you think?
I think so too.
Yeah, back to the blocks real quick. Just curious what it means to you to come into a program like GW and cement yourself in the record books this early on, breaking a record that stood for 47 years.
I mean, first of all, that's a long time. But I don't know I'm going to do that coming in to start with. Coach Caputo gave me a chance. From not playing at all last year and just really going to come in and start. Nobody will give you a chance like that. And when I put my name in the transfer portal, it's the first one that, believed in me. And that means a lot. So, when they did that, I said, I'm a loyal person. If you give me an opportunity like that, I would do everything and anything, for the team and for the program. That's the type of person I am. So, and go back to it. God bless me, and, here we are.
When you were at Auburn, you were obviously in a big room with Walker Kessler,
Yeah.
Smith, these guys that are now succeeding in the NBA. Mm-hmm. How did being around them impact your confidence coming here and just letting you dominate?
I mean, like a guy like Walker Kessler, man, it's 7'2", and I'm guarding him every time I practice, blocking the shot too, so that helps me a lot. We going iron sharpen iron. So, I got Dylan Caldwell, he's 7 foot, Jay Will. I got big guys over there, so we help each other get better. And, here I got Keegan and, June getting me better every day. So, that's just showing on the floor today. So.
Yeah, you guys have both played college basketball for a while now. How has your approach to games and situations like this one changed over time?
Say that again.
How has your approach to games like this, where it's super close, super high pressure? How has that changed as you guys have gotten older and more experienced?
Oh yeah, I think it's just like the experience piece. You've been here before, so you kind of know, what to do, what not to do. Now it's just more so just talking to the younger guys and, trying to help them along because, this is their first time in these type of situations. So, me and him are able to, bring us in the huddle and really talk to everybody and get us calm and get us ready to play.
JB, what's going through your mind at the line in those last few minutes?
When I'm at the free throw line?
Yeah.
Try to make them. I missed them tonight, but yeah, just stick it to my routine. I know I can make free throws, so just trying to be confident and, be relaxed at the line.
As you mentioned, JB, you guys are 2 of the oldest players on the team. What was your exact message to the younger guys, a lot of freshmen on this team, during this overtime, not just tonight, but in the tournament as well?
Oh, okay. Well, for tonight, we had missed a couple free throws at the end. We had, we was a little down, but, just trying to get the team to recognize, we're still in this game, 0-0 now with the opportunity to win. So, we kind of got to forget about the past and move on. So that was kind of my message, like a next play mentality.
JB, Navy ran a really strong press tonight. Obviously, I don't know if it took you guys out of it, but it seems like you were a little bit slower to get into your offensive sets. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, they're a very physical team. They're really good on defense. They're really sound. And they make it tough on you. That press definitely slowed us down a little bit. It made it a little harder to get into sets. So at halftime, coach just preaching to us to, try to beat the press as quick as we can so that we can get the offense started. If we start the offense, it's going to be harder to score. So, yeah.
And then again, rebounding after a tough loss in South Carolina. What's the mindset coming in to the Smith Center home game after that?
Man, just trying to get a win, trying to get back in that win column. But more importantly, just fix the things that we didn't do well in that South Carolina game, because we recognize that it's a long season and it's not about today, it's about the end. So we're just trying to get better every single day, and I think we took a step tonight.
Both of you obviously had like huge plays and clutch moments. Stretch with the block to send the game to overtime. JB finishing the last 4 points of the game. With so much experience, how do you internally like handle that moment and know that you are being relied on to make a play in that key moment?
I think it's just the trust from not only my teammates but the coaching staff. They trust us to make those plays, and when you got the trust from your team and coaches, it makes it a lot easier to just go in and make plays and just trusting your abilities and trusting the work that we put in.
And to add to that, you just got to know it's one play at a time. You know what I mean? So you got to get a stop to go to offense. So, and that's what we talk in the auto when we get in the auto. So.
Any other questions, student athletes? All right, guys. Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you guys.
Hold on, let me get a water.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
All right. Let's start with a statement from Coach
Yeah.
and questions.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the first thing I told the guys, I just got so much respect for anybody who's in a service academy, but, certainly Coach DeChellis, who I've known, for a long time, and then and anybody who sacrifices and goes to a service academy and then is going to go spend their time after school fighting for our country. Tremendous amount of respect. And with that comes like the idea for our guys, like, they're like really tough and they're not going to like give up and they're going to muck up the game and be very physical. And they're amongst the best teams in the country in turning people over, amongst the best teams in the country at rebounding the ball. They crashed, extremely hard almost every possession. So really good win for us. We continue to find ways in overtime. But my expectation is nothing's easy, and so tonight wasn't easy. We don't put the uniforms on and expect it to be easy. It's expected the other way, that it's going to be hard every night. So great win for us.
Questions? Patrick?
Chris, the work that Stretch was able to put in stretches, just how impressive was that, and how much did you think that was able to create a little bit of a cushion for you that improved that?
Yeah, I mean, incredibly. He beat the Terminator on the. We had, I guess, the Terminator played here. A guy who played the Predator. My bad, Terminator. I said the Terminator. That would have been Schwarzenegger. The Predator. So that's incredible that he breaks the school record there. There's just stretches where you feel like I got to have him in the game and we can figure out what we're going to do on offense because of his presence. Not just the blocking of the shots, but just the idea that he's there. A couple of times late in the game, I thought those guys got pretty close to the basket and we're like, is he over here? That's things that don't go in the box score, but they affect people's behaviors, and so just incredible. He's such a good guy. He's just he's a joy to be around, and I'm not sure that all those other guys understand that he's cleaning up a lot of mess, every time somebody gets in the paint.
For you guys, the free throw situation, I'm sure, has to be, on the flip side, pretty frustrating.
Yeah, I don't really know. Darren's been shooting pretty good free throws. I don't know the percentages, but I kind of feel like he's in the 70s. And James, you expect to make them, and we missed 5 in a row. I think we joked about this last year. Like we led the league in free throw shooting, and we didn't practice free throw shooting one day in practice. I don't really intend to change that. Guys shoot them on their own. They shoot them within their skill work. They get in there, and you want them on their routines and things. And we've modified some guys in terms of their routines. And so we could look at that depending on who and what, but I'm not going to overreact to a couple missed free throws. I actually think their minds were, June's mind was not right. He was thinking about the free throws before instead of just making them,
Hey, this is just a follow up. What's your message to Buchanan there? When it
Nothing.
looks like
I don't want to say a word right now, I mean, because he could go in 6 of 6 the next game and I've wasted my breath and put something in his mind that really there's no reason to. Although there are guys sometimes when you see something in their routine that you don't like, and then you kind of wait to see, hey, like, is he not making them? And if that's the case, there are some things that we do in terms of routine and maybe a little bit of mental preparation that I think can help.
Yeah, last season you guys allowed most points per game in the A10 while also scoring the most points per
Yeah.
game in the A10. And while tonight obviously had some super strong defensive performances,
Yeah.
you guys are still sitting at second most points allowed
Yeah.
in the A10 right now. So I'm just wondering, does that concern you at all as we're
I
getting
think
closer
the
to
points
A10?
allowed is just a product of the pace, too. We're also like top 10 in the country in pace. So I think when you look at the points per possession, I think we're in the top 75 or something like that in the country and defensively, points per possession defense. There's some things we need to clean up defensively, but we've certainly made big strides. You know, they only shot 31%. We're top 5 in the country in not fouling, and we put them on the line early and often tonight. I think they're a hard team to defend because of the way they drive the ball. Number one's a hard guy to guard. Like, he can get in the paint. He's got the ball in a string. He's got a lot of head bobbing, a lot of moving of different body parts while he's being guarded that I think make it really difficult for guys to referee him. But yeah, I feel like we've made a lot of progress there, but certainly to be at championship level, yeah, we got a little bit further to go.
It looked like Hutchinson and Edwards took a tough fall there, both of them at the end.
Yeah. They look fine. I mean, they're fine in there. I have to watch it to see like how blind of a screen was it moving. I think we all can sleep well tonight. Know that our Navy men will set good screens and hit people because they were setting some really, really good screens that we needed to navigate.
What the mentality when the game, like there was moments where Navy was winning, and it felt like this kind of hush fell over the crowd, and there were some nerves, and it was like, oh, like the game felt like it was slipping out of hand again. What's your message in those timeouts to the players to not only keep them focused, but push through all that adversity?
Yeah, I mean, I just think being present, you know, you can't really worry about what happened, you know, and you can't really worry about what might happen. You just got to figure out what, you know, you define mental toughness as doing the next most important thing, you know, and that's really where you have to place your mind and you know, it's a little bit harder for younger guys because they've never been through these things, and you know, a guy like June who's a freshman and miss a few free throws and thinks that, you know, 8 million people or something are watching on TV and miss free throws and just feeling really bad about himself. But the reality is I've been doing this long enough to know you win these games, and in 10 years, everyone just says, oh, yeah, we beat Navy that night. You know, and Stretch had 11 blocks. Nobody remembers it was like an overtime and guys missed free throws and all that stuff. So got to be able to move on and got to be able to do the next most important thing. That's mental toughness.
Hey, you're now 6-0 in your career in
Yeah.
overtime as a head coach. You know, what's your approach to the overtime period?
Yeah, I just keep saying it because eventually we'll lose, and so I will not be able to say it anymore. So my wife's always like, hey, you better stop saying that. I'm like, well, I'm sure we'll lose at some point in overtime, so I might as well just milk it as long as I can, you know. No, I just think I try to be pretty calm, and I think that helps in those situations, you know. I wasn't thinking like, well, what if we lose? What's going to happen? Like, you can think about that. You have plenty of time to think about that when the game's over, but when we're in the moment, we just got to figure out how to get to the next thing.
You mentioned a lot with going into overtime here. How significant is it in these late games, in overtime situations, to rely on guys like Stretch and JB to you know, keep your team composed?
Well, James for sure. He's been through it now a good bit in his career, and those two guys in particular are so mature. Stretch is not as experienced on the court, but he's experienced in college basketball. Been around a lot of different stuff, and so. When 6 of your 8 guys are freshmen, sophomores in sort of the rotation, that it's critical that those guys are in the right mindset. And not everybody who's old and experienced is always in the right mindset, but those two guys are.
Felt like quality of minutes wise from what you got from Trey was pretty strong. I'm not sure what your assessment of that was.
Yeah, I thought he had a good night. I put him in and he got scored on quick twice, and I was, like a little concerned there. But man, he's pretty steady. You know, he plays off his shot fake. He kind of knows what position he needs to be in. You know, all those things. So. What? Okay. Hey.
Sorry, that threw me off a little bit. With Schroeder, sorry.
Go ahead.
Schroeder didn't.
That's a first, by the way. Thanks. You're leaving. Goodbye. You know. Okay.
Schroeder obviously played like not as many minutes. He's playing kind of his average minutes, but he was very efficient when he was on the court. What does having those wings with those backdoor cuts between him and Johnson?
He's become a great cutter. He's, you know, I'm trying to get him to take care of the ball a little bit better. I think I think he needs to continue to think shot first. There's going to be open shots for him to have. But he's an excellent cutter, and he's got size. He can finish plays near the rim. He's not small, you know. I think that's part of it for him is making the adjustment of playing against so many smaller guys in college basketball, whereas I feel like in Europe there's a lot of guys his size running around, like-sized, and you got to be able to, like, constantly, I'm like, hey, man, you got to be the low man wins, and you are like 6'8". And even though you're a guard wing player, like guys are up underneath you, and it's very difficult when guys with speed are hawking you like that. And so for him to be able to, you know, just be a little bit tougher with the ball and a little bit more aware of that and be, I think, you know, will be the key for him going forward. But he's helping.
Max Edwards had a little bit of trouble tonight. Did you think it was anything Navy was doing specifically, or what did you see from him?
I think a little bit of inconsistency. You know, he made some very big plays. But yeah, I thought a little bit of inconsistency from him. That you know, it's just rears its head at times. You know, so he's got to be able to be a little bit more even.
Yeah, you guys have 9 games under your belt now, and we're getting pretty close to conference play. Is there anything in particular that you're looking to emphasize in practice as we get closer to that?
Yeah.
Anything you're looking to tweak or change up?
Yeah, 8 games is not enough of a sample size, but it's a good enough sample size to assess sort of where you're at and what things rear their heads to try to fix. But you have to do that while you're preparing, right? So it's like you have a 2-day. It's not like we're practicing tomorrow. You know, you have a 2-day prep. So we'll spend a lot of time watching film and really assessing tomorrow, you know, what practice would look like Thursday, Friday, knowing that, hey, you're still preparing for a new opponent. There's going to be 50, 60% of that practice has got to be geared towards Coppin State. 40% of it has to be geared towards getting better at the things that you need to get better at that you know are just going to show up in every game, transition defense, you know, your rotations and pick and roll defense, things like that, some offensive execution. You know, Navy makes it really hard to execute anything offensively because of the press back to zone, back to switching, matchup, zone a couple of passes, then into man. They're really trying to muck it up. It makes it difficult. Got to really simplify what you do. You're not going to be super tactically running a million plays. You're just kind of giving concepts and being able to play out of those.
Kind of when the zone was having issues, do you switch to a like 4-guard, 1 stretch?
Yeah, you try to. I mean, that's a decision, right? Is like stretches blocking shots, and yet, yeah, you'd like to put 4 guards out there with June, and those are not easy choices. When to do that exactly is like my best guess. A lot of times, it's not something that you can just go say. You know, sometimes it's their matchup could help us make that decision. But quite honestly, the times when June got fouled a number of times within that situation, and we're like, okay, good, we get to the free throw line. Let's make the free throws. James got fouled one time. He missed. So when you miss 5, you go miss 5 of 6, that strategy goes out the window. Stretches on the bench, and you're doing it for offense, and then you miss 5 or 6 free throws. You're like, I don't know. Was that smart? Was that not smart? Who knows? You know.
More questions?
Abe?
One last one.
Sure, Abe.
Of course, you know, you guys did a lot to boost turnout from students. Georgia's Army,
Awesome.
Great turnout. Can you just talk about, you know, what that means to the team?
Well, it's what I've said. You know, I think that the environment in the Smith Center is like can really be a crown jewel of the university. The building is incredible. We owe it to the university to have a really good program that creates a tremendous environment in the Smith Center where the students are having a great time, and it's enhancing their experience as students, not just the student athletes are going to be enhanced by that because of their play is going to be enhanced because of the people in the stands. I walked over to those guys tonight and said, hey, this was awesome, and come back Saturday, 6 o'clock. Should be a good time Saturday. People can do some things during the day, and then get here at 6 o'clock on Saturday. I think it's 6 o'clock, right? 6? Yeah, 6 o'clock. So I want this to be the reputation of what GW is all about. When that game's on television, you see the cameras facing Georgia's Army, and the amount of people that were in there. That's a great thing for the university, and we got to continue to bolster that, and we got to do it on the other side as well. And I think if we do, we can create a really, really difficult environment, and we can also attract people to it, right? Like in recruiting, we can use that in recruiting in terms of you want to play in a place like this, 18 times a year or whatever, 19 times a year.
All good?
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Who is that guy?
Their SID, they want books.